Is the dark side of the Force bad? Well, that's what the people from Star Wars want you to think. But is it true? And this is how you know you become a world class conspiracy theorist when you start talking about conspiracies in a galaxy far, far away. But yes, the mythology of Star Wars tells us that the dark side of the Force is a path to destruction and corruption and evil, and that you should stay away from all those actions that lead towards the dark side. But is this true? And I would argue it's not. In fact, the seven Hermetic principles, the principle of polarity, teaches us that light and dark, or good and evil, are two sides of the same coin. They are just opposite ends of the same energy. They are polar opposites. And tapping in to the dark side is how you achieve your full potential. Ignoring the darkness, ignoring your own shadow, only leads to you being incomplete. And in fact, if you are a Star Wars fan, you will know that the Jedi actually let Anakin Skywalker down. See, if you don't know, Anakin Skywalker was AKA the Chosen One, the person destined to bring balance to the Force. And he had a lot of issues, certain emotions and fears and insecurities, things that we all have. And what the Jedi did was they taught him and told him to suppress these feelings instead of dealing with them. Their solution was to ignore them. And in fact, that's what backfired. That's what essentially turned Anakin to the dark side. And I think that's what happens to people in real life. If you ignore your shadow, if you ignore the dark side, you run the risk of becoming that which you fear. So when it comes to the dark side of the Force, you do have to be careful, because like all things, the dark side of the Force is like playing with fire. And fire can keep you warm, it can cook your food, it can provide you light, it can protect you from predators. But if you don't know how to handle that fire, then you can burn down your house, you can burn down an entire neighborhood or a city or an entire forest. So you have to be careful with how you approach the dark side. And when it comes to dark energies, we typically say things like fear, anger, aggression are dark energies. In fact, Yoda has a quote, which is actually in my unplugged journal, where he says fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. And that is 100% true. Or maybe not 100% true, but it is definitely true. But on the flip side, your fear, your anger, your aggression can actually be good if, and here's the key word, if you know how to transmute those energies into positive outcomes. See, this is what alchemy teaches us. And this is how you can use the power of the dark side to better yourself and to better those around you and to better the world. For example, I'm fascinated with successful people, and I like to pay attention to their mindset and their actions and their habits. And I was studying Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Tom Brady, and various other athletes who reached the pinnacle of their craft, Conor McGregor. And it's interesting because one of the things all of them had in common is that they would use aggression and even jealousy or vengeance to their advantage. For example, if you are a fan of memes, I'm sure you've seen the famous Michael Jordan one where he's sitting there. It's from the documentary The Last Dance, where he's sitting on his couch and he says, "And I took that personal." And that's what Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, they all did. They took things personal. If people did not believe in them, if people said they could not do it, if people said that they were washed up or not good enough or has-beens or whatever, they would use that to fuel them. And you could argue that they are using negative energy to fuel them, and they are. But is that a bad thing? Well, I don't know. They became the best players in their game. They became wildly successful. They became rich, and they will all go down in history as the best to ever do it. And so while they used that negative energy to their advantage, they used it to make themselves better. And you can do the same, because when you are on a journey of self-betterment, when you are trying to become the best version of yourself, you are going to get very similar negative energy thrown your way. In fact, if you have never had anyone throw negative energy your way, then I will argue you're not doing anything. It is part of the game. People will throw all kinds of stuff at you, whether it's jealousy or insecurity. There are people, and this is sad to say, but it is a reality. There are people out there who do not want you to succeed, mainly because it's a reflection of their own inadequacies. They have a scarcity mindset, and they think that if you succeed, you are taking away from this finite amount of success. And the more success you gain, the less success that is available for them. But that's not true. Success is abundant, and everybody's journey is individual, right? Your success has no bearing or impact on my success. And in fact, your success can actually help me out, especially if we are friends or family members. The better you get, the better I get. And the better I get, the better you get. And so the reality is that we can use success to lift people up. A rising tide lifts all boats. Another negative energy is fear. And fear alone is not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you look at it from an alchemical standpoint. For example, a fear of heights is probably a good thing. Otherwise, there's a very good chance you're just going to walk off the edge of a cliff. The problem with any of these negative energies is when they overtake you and you become consumed by them. But I'll get back to that in a second, because I want to talk about how you can let fear fuel you. One of the things that all successful athletes do is they are fueled by the fear of failure. Now, that doesn't mean that failure is a bad thing. What they are fearful of, I guess they shouldn't say that they are afraid of failure. They are afraid of being mediocre. They are afraid of being average. They are afraid of not reaching their potential. And to be honest, that is a big fear of mine. My fear is that I will not achieve what I know I can do. So I let that fear fuel me and push me. And when I don't want to do something, when I don't want to go to the gym, when I don't want to eat healthy, when I don't want to read a book or write an article or film another video, whatever it is, I remember that fear, and that fear of being mediocre. And it makes me realize that the only way I'm going to achieve my goals, my hopes, my dreams is to face that fear and to use that fear to fuel me, so I get up and I do the work and I do what needs to be done. So this idea that the dark side of the force should be avoided at all costs is just another conspiracy. It's a conspiracy by the man to keep you down, to keep you incomplete. Now, as promised, you do have to be careful with any of these dark side energies. They are powerful, and you can become consumed by them. The amount of people that I see that are consumed by fear, and it is destroying their lives and is making them sick and depressed. It's all over the place. In fact, the entire world, for the most part, at least in this country, is just saturated with fear. And the more sensitive you become to energies, you can just feel it. And I have also seen, like my man Yoda said, how fear leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. Likewise, aggression. I think aggression can be good, but it has to be managed properly. You become too aggressive, and it can take you down, and it can destroy you. But if you know how to manage it, it is amazing fuel. And I think that's one of the things with any of the dark side energies. They are powerful. There's that famous quote from Darth Vader that says, "You don't know the power of the dark side." But the key is balance and learning how to manage it and to stay grounded, to keep your values in line. So again, here is how you use dark energy to your advantage. You transform it from something negative to something positive. And this is a law of the universe backed up by science, that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just transforms from one energy to the next. So tap in to your fear, to your anger, to your aggression, and transmute it and use it to fuel you and use it to make you become better and stronger and to help you fulfill your potential and your purpose. See, the greatest athletes in the world only got there because they knew this trick. And it's not just athletes, successful musicians, artists, businessmen, they all know how to use and transmute these energies. Even if they are not consciously aware of what they are doing it. So I challenge you to tap in to the dark side, but stay grounded and transmute those energies. You need to use the full spectrum of the energetic world to your advantage. But this is advanced. This is an advanced technique. But I know that if you are listening to this, that you are like me, and that you are smart enough, strong enough, and have the capability to use these energies with the respect that they deserve. So anyway, that's all I got. If you are enjoying the show, if you're enjoying these videos, please like them, share, subscribe to the channel, add a comment. These things help. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the other side.